The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Their company customers play just $5, get $75 in bonus funds. Use promo code NBA SGPN. And welcome everyone to the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Currently Friday morning, December 19th, around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm Rose Scott Reichel, once again joined by Lonte Smith. Together, we're going to break down the games for Friday. Lonte, pretty crazy NBA slate and really just sports slate yesterday, if you want to include football. But how's it going with you? What's up?
Yeah, pretty good, man. It was a good, some interesting outcomes, some big performances by a lot of people, and I mean we got a lot of teams today on back to back, so that'll be interesting to handicap. And overall, man, I thought it was a great day of sports, especially basketball, who's probably will be taking a little bit more center stage. Obviously, we know around Christmas time is when the casual fan kind of tunes in. Football is kind of winding down, getting to the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm excited going forward. I mean, the league is as good as it's been in a while from a talent perspective. I mean, its rookie class is really good. I see Maxime Reynaud score, I think, 29 last night. So, like, yeah, it's just a really talented league, and I'm looking forward to the expansion stuff that's happening. I know that's been in talks, but yeah, I mean, exciting card, and hopefully we can get some winners.
Yeah, a lot of crazy games yesterday, starting off, of course, with the NFL, with the crazy comeback there by Seattle. Nice win by Darnold with the 2-point conversion in overtime. For the NBA, you saw the Hornets beat the Hawks. Trae Young came back, and the Hawks immediately gave up 133 points. Jalen Johnson had 43, 11, and 9 in the loss. A nice comeback win by the Knicks as Brunson hit the game-winning three in the final couple seconds. Besides that, ended up seeing the Pelicans come back from, I believe, 25 down against Houston as they won in overtime. Dallas beat Detroit in overtime. You ended up seeing the Suns outlast the Warriors as they won by one. Luka had a 45-point triple-double in a nice win there for the Lakers. And you had whatever the hell that Kings game was at the end of the night, where the Trailblazers blew a 15-point lead in the final 153 and then won in overtime because of a foul call with 0.1 left on the clock. But once again, a bunch of crazy games in the NBA. Very fun sports day. And hopefully the games on Friday are going to be just as fun. Anyway, either way, nothing else to really add there. I know I'm skipping over some games, but that was the main, I'd say, drama that happened yesterday. Before we get into any of the games for Friday, a reminder that if you want to get access to all of our free picks and podcasts in one easy location, check out the SGPN app. Free to download in the App Store. Just type in SGPN. Once again, free access to all of our picks and podcasts in one convenient location. Check out the SGPN app. So moving on to the actual card here for Friday. Starting off with the first game on the card, where should we start? We're going to start off with the Heat taking on the Celtics, as you're looking at the Celtics laying 6.5 at home, and the over-under is available at about 231.5. Now, the Heat play yesterday, ended up beating the Nets in Brooklyn, so they are in a back-to-back. Boston did not play yesterday, which might explain why they're favored by 6.5. But Lonte, I'll ask you, Boston has been surprisingly good this season, as they are 15-11. They're 8-5 at home. Miami, despite winning yesterday, is still only 5-8 straight up on the road. But a win's a win. Spo finally listened to me. He used Ware and Bam together in the starting lineup again. Thank God. And they ended up winning the game. I'll ask you, Lonte, what do you like in this game?
Like Boston here. I mean, if we're talking about just obviously Boston has time off, Miami on the back to back, not a ton of travel from New York to Boston, or from Brooklyn to Boston, so don't really put a lot there. But I like the spot for the Celtics. They've lost two in a row, but they had covered 8 straight prior to that. So I think that the Celtics are going to be the play here. Miami, I mean, they before Brooklyn, I mean, they were struggling, like really, really, really struggling. They had lost 5 in a row before that. So I really like that. I really like that they can come out and play well. on the wing. I do think that Hero being out in this specific matchup really I think it hurts them more so from a ball creation with the defenders that Boston has with Jaylen Brown, Derek White on the perimeter. But Jaylen Brown's been playing like an MVP candidate, man. I mean, 5 straight 30-point games. He's averaging 29, 6, and 5. He's got the Boston team.
You there? I think Lonte just lagged out. But either way, he was taking the Celtics because Jalen's been playing very well. I'm going to go with Miami, actually. I'll switch it up a little bit. I do think at the end of the day, the Heat size can give Boston problems, especially if you're going to be using Ware and Bam together. They had lost 5 in a row. I'm where Miami was kind of going through it. But I did like how they played yesterday. It was an ugly game. Game flew under because, of course, the Nets can't score. But you're throwing in Ware, you're throwing in Bam, and it does feel like the Heat, once again, might have potentially found something. So based on that, I do think it is a spot where the Heat should be able to at least, I'd say, out-rebound Boston over the course of this matchup. So for that reason, I'll go for the Heat. Lonte did say that the Celtics had lost 2 in a row. So I do question how much of the Boston success was fully sustainable. We have been talking about other East teams like Toronto, like Miami, teams that started off very hot that kind of cooled off lately. And I do wonder if Boston is starting to finally hit that regression as they did win 5 in a row. Played Milwaukee, got smacked, lost by 15. Played Detroit, close game. They could have won that game, but then Cade happened late in the fourth quarter, and Detroit got the job done. I do think at the end of the day, I'm going to look at a matchup that should come down to the wire. I think it'll be close, but I do think you're looking at the Heat, in my opinion, keeping this game close. Not really trying to be biased towards the historical matchups. These teams tend to play close, and I do think that with Ware and Bam together, the only real size Boston has is Kada, and I do think that Bam and Ware together can definitely give Boston problems on the boards, and they're also great defensively with the rim protection. So I'm going to go with Miami, a plus the 6.5. I get they're on a back-to-back. I get the game, once again, if it is coming down to the wire, maybe Miami runs out of gas in the fourth quarter. But I do think I'm going to go with the Heat in this one. I think the Heat can keep this game close, and I do think eventually they can maybe find a way to win. But I'll take the Heat plus 6.5. I think 3 possessions is maybe too many for Boston. Give me a close game that comes down to the wire for this one. I think Lonte is still not there, so I'll just keep going in the meantime. Then we'll circle back when Lonte comes back. Moving on to the next game, you have the Sixers taking on the Knicks. The Knicks are laying 4.5 at home. They're on a back-to-back. Philly did not play yesterday. There's a rest advantage there for Philly. For the over-under, 229.5. Now, it is a bit misleading that the Knicks played yesterday because a couple of guys sat in the game yesterday. Josh Hart did not play. Cat did not play. Mitchell Robinson did not play. So the Knicks did use Brunson, who had the game winner. But the point is, a couple of guys ended up sitting. So you should see some Knicks be well rested despite the team playing yesterday. Now, the Knicks are 19-7 straight up. They are 13-1 straight up. They've been really, really good at home. Now, as for Philly, Philly has been so far this season fine. They are 14-11. They have been pretty up and down so far this season. But either way, the point is the Knicks have been playing very well, won the NBA Cup, won the game yesterday, and we'll see how they look, even though the Knicks, you can argue fatigue might play a factor. They did strategically sit a couple of key pieces yesterday and got the win anyway. I see Lonte's back. Lonte, do you want to just quickly finish your point on the Celtics?
No, I pretty much I don't even know where it left off at, where it dropped.
I know you were taking Boston, so that's
fine. Yeah, I don't know what happened or how much they heard, but just to prevent from regurgitating that, yeah, I like Boston. I think Jaylen Brown should be in the MVP discussion.
Did you like the over/under in that Boston game?
I would go over. I think both teams will be able to score the ball. Miami's offense has struggled a little bit as of late, but I think with the pace that they play, they'll be able to score. Both teams will be able to score. So over. Boston over.
Yeah, I think I just disagreed entirely there. I picked Miami just because I thought 6.5 was too many. I think the size with Ware and Bam could give Boston problems. And I like the under because Miami games have been flying under for the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
week and a
yeah,
half.
yeah.
So I just think that even if Boston does win, Miami's offense was not very good against the Nets yesterday. So even with the win, they have not really been lighting it up offensively anymore. So I thought the number was too high in the 230s. But moving on to this game, for the Knicks, we'll see if Brunson plays after playing yesterday. Josh Hart, though, did not play. Cat did not play. Shout out to Kolek, though, who had a nice double-double off the bench with 16 and 11. Jordan Clarkson at 18 points off the bench as well. It was a game the Knicks probably didn't deserve to win, but they hung around. They found a way to win, and Brunson, the former Clutch Player of the Year award winner, came through with the game winner. Lonte, I'll ask you, Knicks on a back-to-back with travel, but they are 13 and 1 at home. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, it's a tough one because of what you talked about. I mean, they've been dominant at home, but I'm worried. I don't know who's going to play. I kind of faded them last night against Indiana. I faded both teams off the cup. I lost one.
Well, Indiana spread was never in doubt. They just
Yeah,
ended up losing the game outright, but they
right.
covered.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought it was a bad spot for the Knicks. I thought it was a bad spot for the Spurs also. But I mean, again, they played.
The Wizards are a fake team. That's fine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I do think that Philly is a side. I mean, they're well rested. One game in the last week. Paul George has had back-to-back solid games. Yeah, I think he had 23 and 35, if I'm not mistaken. Philly's really, really good on the road. 8-1-1 ATS on the road is what I have, and that's probably the best mark in the league because I think the Thunder have lost one game on the road as well, or maybe tied for it. So they're really good. I mean, overall, they've been covering numbers at one of the best teams. I think 16 and 9 ATS overall. I think they can hang. I think they can hang, especially with the uncertainty. And it's open 5.5 and it's down to 4.5. So I think that may be some concern with the Knicks, like who's playing for them. So I'll go ahead and get in on Philly here. I like the 4.5. I think they should be primed to win this game outright.
Yeah, I forgot to mention for the injury report for Philly, of course, Embiid is questionable because he always is. So I'm going to ask you, does the Embiid status mean anything to you in this game or not?
No, it doesn't at all. I mean, I'd rather he not play, but I'm fine. He's had a week off, so I'm pretty sure he should be fine with playing. He had a double.
Embiid with a week off for his standard doesn't mean anything because he's still questionable. So
yeah, it doesn't move me whether he plays or not.
Yeah, I think this game's very tricky because I can see a world where Maxey goes crazy and whether Embiid plays or not, I can see Drummond having a good game on the boards. Paul George, will give him props. He's been very good for the last week. And I know that I've been critical of him. I mean, rightfully so, because he had the whole podcasting thing and he gets paid a ton of money to be past his prime. But he's been very good lately. So props to Paul George there. I think it's very tricky because the Knicks atmosphere in MSG has been so good for them this season that the Knicks have been borderline unbeatable in that building. I think I prefer Knicks 1-10 in this one. Philly could win the game, but I think it's close either way. And I think I'll just pick the Knicks to find a way to just get enough buckets down the stretch to survive, kind of like what they did against Indiana yesterday. I'll go with the Knicks 1-10. I think it'll be close. You could argue Philly might win the game outright. I'll pick the Knicks, though. I'll go 1-10. Gives me some leeway where if the Knicks find a way to escape, then they still end up winning the game and the 1-10 gets there. But I don't see them routing Philly on a back-to-back after traveling from Vegas. So I'll go for the Knicks 1-10. If you want to go Philly, that's fine too. But I'll go with the Knicks at home on principle. Give me the Knicks 1-10 in this game. Any thoughts on the over-under?
Tough, man. It's tough for me because I don't know if the Knicks are going to play with the same pace that they normally play with. They generally score a ton at home, but again, it's their first game at home in a while. Like it's the first time they've probably been back home in a while. So I'm kind of leery on what side to choose. I would probably go like over rather than under because of the speed that the Sixers have on the perimeter with Maxey and VJ, and the way Paul George has been playing as well. So it would be over or nothing. I mean, it's something that I won't be betting or something I don't love, but it would be that way if I had to choose.
Yeah, I think I agree about the over. I think Philly, at the end of the day, if Embiid does not play, should play pretty fast. I do think Maxey should have a good matchup either way. So I'll go with the over with you in this one. Not to mention the fact that Philly, I don't trust any of them guarding Brunson. So there you go. Anyway, before we get into the remainder of the card, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Kalshi. So if you want to check out prediction markets available in every state, Kalshi lets you use real money for that. So you can trade a ton of markets in sports, including the NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, and more. Plus, you can also trade props like first touchdowns. And besides sports, they have a ton of other markets like politics, entertainment, and even weather. A reminder, you'd also check out Kalshi with a very good deal at sign up with us. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use the code SGPN at sign up. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN for a free $20 at sign up. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. So if you like pick'em entries, chance to win 5,000 times your entry. They have you covered for the holiday season with Underdog Unwrapped. Bunch of promos that are available throughout the holidays, so check it out. Plus, a new offer for new customers. Play just $5, get $75 in bonus funds. We sign up with SGPN. Once again, it's code SGPN or NBA SGPN at Underdog for the great deal. Play $5, get $75 with the promo code NBSGPN at sign up at Underdog Fantasy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Game Podcast. Finished going through the first two games on the card. Time to move on into the third game, the Spurs taking on the Hawks. Spurs, nice one yesterday. Weird rotation for Wemby, who did not play for the first 16 minutes of the game yesterday. Why? I have no idea. But either way, they blew the Wizards out. I had Wemby over 3.5 blocks. He had 4, so plus 261. Nice dog win for me. As for Atlanta, Trey came back. He was flat out horrible, and the Hawks lost outright. So not exactly the return that the Hawks fans wanted for Trey. We'll see if he plays again. I'm assuming he will. It was a pretty tight minute restriction, so I think he will end up playing in this game. But he looked very rusty. He was objectively bad. I'll put it that way for the game yesterday. As for Wemby, he played yesterday, but barely. I think he played 17 minutes. He probably should play on the back-to-back, but will he come off the bench again? We'll see. Now, Lonte, I'll ask you for the injury report, just mentioning, I think Trey's going to play. I think Wemby's going to play. The only person out right now is Porzingis, who's out indefinitely because he's sick every week. But for this game, Spurs laying 2.5 on a back-to-back. Both teams are on a back-to-back, and the over-under is 240.5. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I love the over. Number one, both teams over in 7 of 10. The back-to-back thing doesn't really bother me, especially with Atlanta. I mean, it's just a short trip to Charlotte. I mean, I don't know. They probably could have. They probably don't ride buses.
The only concern would be the pace of the game because it was a track meet and they went up and down.
Yeah, and San Antonio got a lot of rest late in that game. So
they benched everybody for the last 7 minutes of that game.
Right. The Wemby thing does kind of concern me. I don't know what are they gonna continue to do this, or I don't know what Mitch is doing.
I have a theory, which is they knew going in Wemby was only going to play about 20-25 minutes, and they said, well, if we play him in the first quarter, then we have to pull him in crunch time. So there is a chance they just purposefully punted the first quarter, knowing if the game's close, at least we can play Wemby in crunch time. That's my theory. I still think it was weird, but they knew going in if Wemby was going to play 20-25 minutes, they maybe wanted to maximize the amount left for crunch time, but that's a pure theory on my part.
Yeah, I can buy that. Also, 10 of the 15 road games for the Spurs have gone over. You talked about the defense of Atlanta. It had been better without Trey, but I mean, still was some concern. They don't have a ton of on-ball defenders. The rim protection is iffy. I mean, Onyeka is fine, but he's not really a racer at the rim. But I think it's a great spot for Atlanta. They're losers in 5 of the last 7. They're 500 the last 10. They've been struggling to cover at home, but they're 8-5 overall as a dog. So them getting points right here is I thought it should be closer to a pick. And the last game flew over 135, 126. This was at home for the Spurs last month. There was no Wemby or Trey in that matchup, and both teams still got up and down the floor. Wemby's averaging 25, 12, and 4, and 3.5 blocks in 4 career games versus Atlanta. So maybe you want to look at some stuff with him, like PR, or maybe his blocks alone. But I like Atlanta here. I think it's a good spot. Jalen Johnson has been on a tear. I think he had a triple-double in 5 straight and just missed his 6th last night. 43, 11, and 9, if I'm not mistaken. But, I do love the over. I like Atlanta, too, a lot in this game. I think I'll be on him. I'm waiting on a 3 to pop up. But if not, I'll still just be playing some money line and some over. So I like the Hawks and over.
Yeah, I guess the only counterpoint I have here is kind of twofold. One, can the Hawks guard anybody with Trey back in the lineup? And two, with Porzingis being injured, do they have any size answers to Wemby, Andash, or Cornette? And I don't think they do. So I think for the sake of this game, I'm going to go San Antonio. Yes, I might be biased because I've been very anti-Trey with the narratives for the last couple of years. It is objectively hilarious that Trey comes back and they immediately give up 80 points in the first half. I thought that was pretty funny. But I do think Atlanta's defense is really not in a good matchup for San Antonio. The Spurs have a lot of depth. They have a lot of athleticism. And I just question if the Hawks on the perimeter can match up with Castle and Harper and company. Not to mention Wemby being a human freak who can really get whatever he wants on the interior, and with Okonkwo being the only center they have at this point. Do I think the Hawks can get by? I'm going to say no. I understand that Jalen Johnson is a really good player, but if Wemby ends up playing 25 plus minutes and just holds his hands up around the rim, do I think Atlanta can score enough to keep pace? Because defensively, they fell apart immediately against Charlotte, and it was an abysmal defensive showing. A bunch of wide open shooters. Knipple had a monster game. The whole Hornets team had a monster game. But I think I'll go with San Antonio in this one. Yes, they played yesterday. They're traveling to Atlanta, but at least they got to rest a bunch of guys in the fourth quarter. Wemby barely played. I think he played 17 minutes. Atlanta, maybe I'm going to take the wait-and-see approach with Trey back in the lineup, a way for them to figure it out defensively, or to show me some signs of life defensively. But I think matchup-wise, I do think the Spurs are a bad matchup for Atlanta because of the physicality, because of the guard depth, and because the Hawks, with no Porzingis, now basically have one center on the entire team. So based on that, I think it's a bad matchup. I'll go with San Antonio. But I agree with you about the over. I think Atlanta's going to want to run. I think the Spurs are going to want to run as well. I see pace. I think Castle could have a monster game, but you're throwing in Fox and Castle and Harper against the likes of, Trey and like Alexander Walker and company. I just see a massive mismatch from a guard perspective between these two teams. So I'll go with San Antonio. I think they're objectively the better team at this point in time. And until Trey plays better offensively, I don't know if they have enough to actually get past the Spurs. Trey might figure it out at some point. I'm not going to back him on game 2 after being terrible in game 1. I'll go for San Antonio -2.5, and I'll go with the over for this game. You have any counterpoints you want to make?
No, not really. I feel like that what people have been doing with Wemby, they've been putting the smaller defenders on him to kind of crowd his space, and Phoenix kind of showed that earlier. So I would assume we may see, a lot of Onyeka on him on the perimeter, and maybe even some Ricochet, like just to kind of get under him. Outside of that, though, I think this will be a really good game, especially if Wemby and Trey both play.
I'm going to watch this game. I think it's going to be fun. But
yeah, it was 135.
I don't trust Atlanta right now with Trey being the serious question mark in the entire team at this point.
It was 135, 126 without Trey and Wemby. Yeah. So I can only imagine what it's probably going to be like with that same pace. So, I think this will be a fun game.
I like the over, so I agree with you on that point. Moving on to the next game, you have a rematch of whatever the hell the game was the last time around. Cavaliers, who got run out of the building against Chicago last time out. Cavs this time are at home. They're laying 7.5. The over-under's at 240.5. Injury report. You're looking at no Strus, no Nance. You have no Mobley, no Merrill, and Donovan Mitchell. He is questionable for this game. He is currently dealing with an illness, parentheses, back sore from carrying the team. For Chicago, for their injury report, I see Trey Jones is questionable. Dosunmu is questionable. Zach Collins is probable, but everyone else is healthy. Giddey, another triple-double last game. He's fine, so we'll see how he looks again against Cleveland. The Cavaliers, this team stinks. Atkinson refuses to admit that there is a serious problem with this team in the post-game press conference, but I think we all know it's there. This team stinks. Now, the Bulls have been really bad lately, but They buried Cleveland earlier this week in Chicago. Chance of revenge, classic deja vu game. But Cleveland has been so bad. I don't think I could trust them, especially laying 3 possessions. I think by default, I'm forced to take Chicago, but I'm not really happy about it. But Cleveland, I tried one more time. It failed miserably. I'm good. I'm going to wipe my hands clean of this organization. I'll go Chicago. Lonte, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, so the number is really weird. So it was 5.5. Did it close? I think it closed 5.5 for the last matchup that Chicago won. And then it was 7.5 or it's 8.5, I'm sorry, for the first meeting that they had.
Yeah, so for the last matchup, I got 4.5 on the show, and then it closed 5.5.
Yeah, so now, I mean, the home court is worth way more than 2 points. I mean, it's a short trip. I mean, they just saw each other. And I think, some of the stuff that the players were saying in the press conference for Cleveland was kind of telling. They've lost their last 2 home games. They haven't covered a ton of games. I think they're 8-20 overall ATS, which is one of the worst marks in the NBA. I'm going to take Cleveland here. I think they bounce back in a big way. They have to get some kind of momentum going, some kind of consistency going, and I think they can do it here against a Chicago team who's really bad on the road. They do play well as a dog, but again, I think Cleveland kind of rises up and shows that they have a little bit more life into them. So I'm going to take Cleveland here. I like the over as well. The total dropped like 2 points from the last meeting as well. I'm not sure about that. I mean, it just barely went under. I think it was 239 the last game.
And it got out of hand in the fourth quarter, so they started pulling some guys.
Yeah, so I like the Cavs in the game. I'm probably going to bet the Cavs. Giddey ranks 23rd. He moved into 23rd in NBA history in triple-doubles. Already got 6 this year, which is one off of his season high 7. So
a solid win-win trade. He's been very good in won a ring.
Yeah, I mean, Giddey was good. I mean, we kind of can see the writing on the wall with what they have with OKC. But Giddey's good. Man. He's a good player. I like him in Chicago. Yeah, but I like Cleveland in the game. I like Cleveland in over.
Yeah, I see Daniel saying not to follow my takes on Bulls games. I'm not betting this game. I tried last game. I can't stand these two teams. I made an argument that Cleveland should have a certain sense of urgency taking on a Chicago team in free fall, and instead they no-showed the entire final 3 quarters of the game. So I tried my case with Cleveland. Should they win tonight? Of course. Am I picking them to win? No, I tried. I think Cleveland stinks. I think this team's not very good. Chicago's not good either. 7.5, I know you could argue Cleveland should have a chip on their shoulder after losing in embarrassing fashion to Chicago. I have tried to make the argument that Cleveland should be motivated. You can make that argument for the last couple of weeks. It hasn't mattered. This team's just not very good. I mean, Garland has been horrific. He was really bad against Chicago in the last meeting. Lonte, I want to ask you, if Lonzo has been so bad from the floor this season, but on the other end, you're looking at Ty Jerome, who hasn't played a game this season, which alternative's better? You have one guy who can't shoot, and the other guy hasn't played a game. So which one is better?
Lonzo. Yeah, I want Lonzo. I mean, I'd rather have somebody that's playing. I mean, Lonzo's playing. He's not playing great right now, but again, he's still ramping back up from multiple years off with that injury. So, I mean, he's still a positive on defense, and I mean, Ty Jerome hasn't played a game. So, and this doesn't look like he's going to play until probably mid-January. So, I mean, I want somebody who can at least we can put on the floor and can be a little bit of an impact, at least on the defensive end. I mean, he's struggling offensively, but I think that he'll be fine in the long term once they start playing better.
Yeah, I do want to ask you, though, just to put you on the spot, do you want to guess what Alonzo's field goal percentage is this season?
I would say 29%.
That is a very good guess. He is 28.8%. From 3, he is 25%.
Yeah.
For a guy playing 23-plus minutes per game, he might be the worst shooter I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen a guy who's played 20-plus games in a season shoot below 29% from the floor. I've never seen it. It's almost impossible to be that bad at shooting so far this season. So, yeah, look, Lonzo's got to figure it out at some point. I understand defensively he can be good. He's still averaging 4+ rebounds and 4+ assists per game. So he does some other things for this team. But if you can't shoot, you probably shouldn't be on the floor. Like, Lonzo's been killing them offensively all season, and I know Jerome hasn't played a game, but at the same point, at least Jerome can score. The Lonzo shooting numbers are even worse than you possibly could imagine, and he's got to eventually hit some shots. Just simply put, 28.8% for basically your sixth man is just anemic. That's insane to shoot less than 29%. So anyway, I agree with you. I think that Cleveland probably should cover, but I can't bet that at this point in time, especially with how Atkinson's been responding to the panic meter. He's trying to calm everyone down, even though this team is objectively bad. I'll pick Chicago to hang in there, and I'll go with the over in this game. But if Mitchell does not play, I'll pass on the over. But Mitchell's not guaranteed to play anymore because he's sick. So if Mitchell's out, I don't know what the hell this team's supposed to do. So that's another reason why I can't lay 7.5. 3 possessions, maybe without their best player. Yeah. So until I know the Mitchell status, I'm not taking Cleveland anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to bet this game either way.
Yeah, I think the number says he's playing, though. It can't be 7.5 if he's not playing.
I think you're right. But without getting the confirmation, I just cannot pull the trigger on Cleveland. Moving on to the last game, Thunder are laying 7.5 on the road against Minnesota. The over-under in this game is at 231.5. For the injury report for this game, OKC played yesterday against the Clippers. They no-showed the first quarter and then won by 20 anyway, because of course they did. For the injury report, I see Hartenstein is questionable. The other Jalen Williams is questionable, and Topic is still out. For Minnesota, Ant is questionable once again. What else is new? And Mike Conley is still out. Minnesota last game. Really embarrassing loss there to the Grizzlies as they were kind of punked there in the fourth quarter. Lendell was great. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a double-double. They played objectively well. But Minnesota at home, as about 7.5-point favorites, lost outright and trailed for the majority of the game. The Thunder, we know, are a freight train. They are 12-1 on the road, and they are basically the same record at home. So I like the Thunder, laying 7.5 here. These teams are in different tiers, and with Ant not guaranteed to play, I think he's going to play, but it's not confirmed yet. I still don't think Minnesota's actually good, and I don't like their bench at all. With the Bones Highland and Dillingham minutes, you have fun with that. I think the Thunder defense should give this team problems. I mean, Memphis's defense gave this team problems. I'll go for the Thunder, minus 7.5 on the road. Lonte, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like the Thunder as well, and it's pretty much a contrast to what we talked about with Minnesota last game. We talked about them. Well, yeah, the last time we were on when they were playing Memphis. Like, we talked about them having big interior guys who can kind of create for each other. But what we didn't talk about was the guards. They don't have any guards. They don't have any ball handlers, especially with Ant being out. And he's been out for the last 3 games with that foot injury. So I'm kind of worried that it might be a little bit more than what they're like putting out. And that's concerning for Minnesota. Luckily for them, the West is kind of down and they still can have a shot. Hopefully he can get back maybe like around Christmas time. But yeah, I like OKC because of the lack of guard depth that they have, the lack of guard, productivity that they've been able to do. Like, if you don't have elite ball handlers, good guards against OKC, I mean, you're going to get ate up. I mean, that's just as simple as it can get. It was 113-105 in a win for OKC back in last month. They were 10.5-point favorites. And they had the game, I think, wrapped up, and then Minnesota made it like a push late, if I'm remembering that correctly.
I remember that game being close. OKC opened it up, and then I think Minnesota backdoored. Right. But I remember the Timberwolves hung in there for about 2.5, 3 quarters.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And Minnesota hasn't been good at home. Typically, they are really good at home as far as covering numbers. They're 5-9 ATS at home. I mean, OKC, like, let me ask you. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Has J-Dub played in back-to-back games this year since he's coming back?
If he has, I don't remember it.
Okay, cool. See,
I'm going to say yes, but maybe like once or twice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It hasn't mattered because they're 25-2. So the answer could be no, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll say 1 or 2, but I'll pull it up now to just.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if he does play or if it's just like his first time or not. But overall, I mean, I think that OKC that loss kind of reset them and recharged them to go on another run. So they could probably rattle off another 15 to 20 games here. And I think it starts with a big win over the Timberwolves. So, yeah, I like laying the number 7.5.
For the record, you're saying back-to-back as in back-to-back days or back-to-back games?
Back-to-back games.
Yeah, he's played back-to-back games for 8 straight games.
Okay. No. I mean, like they played last night. Like, so has he played in? He's played in.
Okay, yeah. So you did mean back-to-back days. Okay.
Yeah, back-to-back games. Yeah.
No, they've not had any opportunities for him to play
Okay,
on
cool.
back-to-back.
So yeah, I'll be interested to see how they manage his minutes and things of that nature.
I see a question from Jordan in the comment section if Cason Wallace is out. I haven't seen anything about Cason Wallace, so I'm assuming he's fine. Yeah. Have you seen anything about him? Because I haven't seen.
No, they don't. But they played last night, so they don't have to submit any injury reports until I think like noon, if I'm not mistaken.
The props also might be tricky because Dort's back now and Caruso's back now, and you don't know who's going to play on a back-to-back. So that could be why it's not listed, because if those guys potentially sit, then Wallace will get more playing time. So we'll see what happens there. But no, I think Cason should play in this game. But I like OKC in this game. Thoughts on the over-under for this one? Because I think I'm going under, but that was mainly based on the first meeting and the fact that I'm not sure Minnesota can score against this defense. But the first game did lay in 218. I think 231.5 feels kind of high. I'll go with the under.
Yeah, if you want to take an a non-correlated parlay, OKC team total over, Timberwolves team total under.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
There you go. Anything else you want to add for the card?
No, that's about it.
Cool. So before we get into the Lock and Dog picks, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Novig. So you want to check out prediction markets in sports, check out Novig, the #1 rated prediction market in America for sports. Get some reduced juice on different markets through Novig. Also check out the deal that we have with the platform. Download the app. When you do so, get $50. When you spend just $5, if you use our code SGPN, and make sure Novig, promo code SGPN, spend $5 and $50 in bonus funds. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. They've been great in the NFL so far this season, especially with props. Check out college basketball as well. A lot of predictions on games. They have models, so check out college basketball there. Super easy to sign up, run predictions off the house model, build your own model, or copy one from the leaderboard. And a reminder, we have a nice discount code with Rhythm. So if you use the code SGPN25, we download the app, you'll get a nice quarter off your first month. Download Rhythm. Once again, promo code SGPN25 for a quarter off your first month. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finished going through the 5-game slate for Friday. Time to go on into the Lock and Dog picks. Lonte, what is going to be your Lock and Dog for the show? What do you like?
So I'm gonna live dangerous and take I'm gonna take the +4.5 for Philly. I mean, I think they are, they should be ready to go, well rested. I know the Knicks have, they held out 3 guys for precautionary reasons, but I don't think Cat's gonna play. I mean, that injury did not look good, to be honest.
I don't think Hart's gonna play.
Oh yeah, well that's even better. Yeah, so I'll take the +4.5. I think they're live to win that outright. I know the Knicks have been a juggernaut on the road. You got the Brunson thing, so I just don't know. Too much uncertainty with the Knicks, and they're laying this number. The number moved down, so I think that's kind of telling. Opened at 5.5. I kind of see some 3.5 like popping up right now. So I'm gonna take the +4.5 with the Sixers. I think they can win that outright. For the dog, I'm gonna take a home dog, man. I'm gonna take the Hawks +125, 128. You can find a +130 because I see some +3s popping up, which means Wemby's probably gonna be like in. So yeah, I think Atlanta I think they'll be fine with the pace. Both off back-to-backs, so that should not be an issue. I mean, they had short travel to Charlotte, so that should be fine. I think it's a good spot for Atlanta. I like them to win the game outright, so +125, let's call it.
All right. For my lock, I think I'm just going to go with the pretty safe option, in my opinion. I'm just going to go with the Thunder, minus the 7.5. Ant might not play. I think he's going to show up for this game. I think he will be playing, but I question how sharp he's going to look. Minnesota, though, I think we'd all agree, objectively not very good so far this season. They've been good against bad teams, even though they lost to Memphis in their last game. They've been really bad against good teams, so they fail every step-up attempt that they have. The Thunder kill everybody, and after losing to the Spurs, they showed up against the Clippers and eventually won by 20. I think it's a pretty similar spot here where Shea can get whatever he wants. Hartenstein potentially not playing, I think does matter, but we'll see if he suits up or not. But the Thunder are a bad matchup for everyone, and with Ant in his first game back off of injury, not the matchup you want. Not to mention the fact that I'm not a fan of their other guards. DiVincenzo is not a real point guard. He's forced into that role, but the Bones Highland minutes and the Dillingham minutes and the Shannon minutes are just not very good. I think Minnesota's bench is kind of abysmal, and it has been this season. I see a bad matchup for Minnesota. I get it's in Minnesota. The atmosphere should be pretty nice, but the Thunder are just the best team in the league by a mile. Give me the Thunder minus 7.5. I think the line feels pretty short. I'll take them as my lock. For my dog, what did I want to go with here? Because I thought about actually running back the blocks angle for Wemby, but Atlanta's been good against opposing centers for blocks. So I don't know how many minutes Wemby's going to play, but I might go for the Spurs to win with a Wemby double-double. But I'm also concerned about the minutes. Like, that's kind of the scary part here because Wemby's minutes have been quite underwhelming lately. And he only played 17 yesterday. So that's kind of why I'm scared off. But Wemby double-double is plus money. So that is kind of one thing I thought about. But you know what? I think I'll just go for the plus money. And what I think is a line that's too big. Yes, they're on a back-to-back. Yes, they're traveling. But I do think the line's too big. Boston has not been very good lately. I do think Miami with Ware and Bam together can really frustrate the Celtics on the interior. I'll go for it. Give me the Heat on the money line at plus 222. I think it's a pretty good price. I think that's going to be an ugly game. I think it'll be close. But I do think Boston, despite playing better than we thought this season, might have been overachieving. And we have seen some regression recently. I'll pick Miami to hang in there. Give me the Heat to win the game outright. I'll go for the Heat money line at plus 222 as my dog for the show. I'm moving on to Underdog. Lonte, no pressure, but Terrell and I did hit the Underdog yesterday at 6-1.
Did we not hit ours?
I think we are one away.
We got Giddey. Last one. We had Giddey. We had Donovan. They both got there. Who was the other one?
The one that lost.
Okay.
I don't remember which one, but I'm pretty sure we were one short for the last entry. But either way, Terrell and I did hit one yesterday at 6-1. We'll try to run it back here today. So I'll ask you for starters, who do you like?
I like Jalen Johnson, PRA, a ton. I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Jalen Johnson's my guy, so I'm not going to push.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with that. He was the first one I circled today.
It's 41.5.
Yeah.
For the record, last game against San Antonio, he had 26, 12, and 7.
Yeah, he's just so good. Yeah, I like that. I'm trying to figure out what else. Do you want to go with the Wemby blocks?
I think I'd rather go for Wemby PR in this game. Even with the low minutes, he has been doing pretty well in the stats.
Yeah.
And it's at 27.5. Last game he had 15 and 8 in only 17 minutes against Washington. But we saw Atlanta guard nobody yesterday. He's been great against the Hawks in the past. Last two games, 24 and 12, 42 and 6. I understand minutes might be a little bit less than normal, but 27.5 does feel objectively low for a guy with a great matchup. I think Wemby 27.5 sounds pretty low. I'll go for the higher on his PR for that one. And then we need one more.
Who do I like? I do like Jaylen Brown, but he's been on fire. I'll tell you, I like Jaylen Brown. I like Tyrese Maxey. I don't know if you like those two guys.
All right, I can get behind Maxey. I think Maxey's got a good matchup.
Somebody in the chat said we did win it. We won. It was Rudy Gobert. It was Rudy double-double.
Oh, so we did win. Okay, then I forgot to recap that on social media.
Yeah. So it was Gobert double-double, Donovan points, and Giddey. PRA.
Oh, so okay. Yeah, my bad. Back-to-back Underdog wins. So there you go. Yeah, I forgot to recap that, so apologies.
Appreciate that in the chat.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out to us. I'll go with Maxey. You want to just go with the 26.5 points?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cool. Let me just make sure it's 26.5 on Underdog, because occasionally they might give you a line that's a bit higher. It's 27.5.
Yeah, don't matter.
Good enough.
I think you'll have 30.
Cool. All right. So once again, the 3 picks here for the Underdog entry. We're going to go with Jalen Johnson higher, 41.5 PRA. Same game. Wemby higher, 27.5 PR. and Maxey higher, 27.5 points. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Lonte, anything else you want to add?
Hopefully we got some good games this weekend, and I'm looking forward to some good action this weekend. We got some decent games this weekend, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. I see Patrol, by the way, in the comment section saying that he had Nemhard for 30 points at 19-1. So congratulations to you.
Damn,
Sorry the
that's right.
Thunder couldn't cover the spread there, 23.5. They had a chance there towards the end. They didn't get there. But either way, once again, we'll be back on Monday. Till next time.